Good afternoon. Thank you for listening to my project here. Let me get myself moved so you can see. This is my final case study on the Aetna case, and my name is Maverick Kelly, and here we go. So an overview of the Aetna case study is I'm going to start with an introduction, and I'm going to cover the background of the company, the case, and then do an overview of the evaluation and everything that's going on with Raymond having to present to the board. And then next we'll go into the analysis where I'll talk about the history of Aetna, the effect on business that diversity has, and how the workforce is integrated with diversity and how they make a big difference in the day-to-day culture of Aetna. And then last, I'm going to go into a action plan, and there I will be highlighting the short-term and long-term plays that they should make, and also concluding the whole presentation. So here we go. So let's move this again. Sorry. So the objective is to help Raymond make a strong business case for diversity and provide additional recommendations for Aetna. The problem is expenses need to be cut. The board is calling him in to give him 35 minutes to talk about what they should do and why diversity is important. And Raymond Marcos needs to fight for that cause for many reasons that we're going to get into. And so my criteria that we're going to talk about for Aetna keeping diversity in their business plan is their history. You know, they've been in business since the 1850s. And since then, they have been a leader in getting people into roles that are kind of historic. And next, I'll talk about the effect on business, how diversity plays an effect on the whole culture and day-to-day activities, like I said, and the employees and the customers. And then last, again, the workforce, how it builds a stronger workforce that wants to get things done and wants to help people more effectively. So the history of Aetna, they started out in 1853. They built their way up since then. So this diversity thing has been going on. Really, they've been really putting the hammer down since about 35 years ago, the mid 80s, when they started a couple initiatives that put African Americans or people of color into positions that they weren't getting normally, and they were putting women into the workforce. They actually started putting women in the workforce previous to World War I, which is just unheard of. As early as 1909, they were employing women and putting them into the same jobs that men had, and so they were kind of a leader in women's activism and like I said, getting them into roles and putting them finally into management positions. As you read through the case, you saw that a lot of the senior leadership and the leadership is manned by women. Next, I'm going to talk about diversity's effect on business. So as many of us know through the whole capstone program and the whole CBL program, diversity is very important in the workplace. It brings together a lot of different point of views, a lot of different backgrounds, and effectively creates this all-encompassing culture that is better fit to tackle unknown causes, bring all their brain power together. And when you get all of these different thought processes and ideas, and you just have a good sounding board, then things really start to get accomplished and you become a more effective business, and all the time employing these people who haven't been given equal opportunity in their life. And so this is one of the biggest points of the paper for me. You know, the Raymond Marcos is really going to be hammering down on this. He only has 35 minutes, so he needs to touch on how all of these different people, these people of color, these women who have not historically been in powerful positions, and they're finally getting their chance. You know, they're really building up their numbers and they're creating an effective company. They're creating deeper connections with their employees and with their consumers who they're serving, and they're serving a larger area than ever because they have a workforce that can connect individually with these people that they're servicing. So they are really able to meet a large scope. And then my third criteria again is a value integrated workforce. This workforce has always been a little different than the usual um, that you're seeing in times of history. Like I said, women have been in the workforce for 100 years. In 2009, they celebrated their 100 years of women in the workplace. They've always had these African American calendars that talk about the history and what they've been doing. And so really putting in these values into their day-to-day lives has created an effective business model, because these people want to come here. They feel safe, they feel comfortable, they're not scared of losing their jobs, they're not scared of getting harassment from other employees. They feel at home here, and they're given duties that they appreciate. Again, a lot of them are in leadership positions, and then a lot of them are in the day-to-day roles, reaching out to people, customer service, and those sort of things. And so when you're talking to someone who has had the same exact experiences as you and has gone through the same things, is super important. And so when they feel these values integrated into the company and they believe in them, it's a lot easier to come to work, be happy, and get your job done. And so this is just a big driver of profit for the company. A lot of revenue is being done because they're more productive, and all of these values are ones they believe in, and they bring in people who believe in them, and they get rid of the ones who don't fit into the mold, so to say. And so my short-term action plan, I believe that Raymond Marcos should present the most important information efficiently. Obviously, that's going to be a big deal. The board of directors are kind of outside entities of Aetna, so they don't really understand how much of a role that diversity and inclusion and culture play in the business model. And so he's really going to have to come out swinging and just throw some numbers at them that really shock them and show that, hey, if we didn't have this diversity, then we're not even going to be half the company that we are today. Our numbers aren't going to be anywhere close to the same. And we're just not even going to be in this position because we would have went out a long, long time ago. Everyone is going through these financial hardships, um, the whole economic scope of things, whether we're talking about America or the EU or other countries. They're all struggling. They're all trying to find ways to get out of this horrible recession. And just diversity is not the way to do it. So he needs to present that information efficiently. And so, like I said, these board members are outside entities. So he needs to explain that the company has been built on values. Throughout the case, they talk about a lot of different milestones that the company's hit. And starting in 1853, just how they grew to become this big company, and the initiatives that they took. And so once he explains that, they're going to get a better feel of why he is so um, motivated by this, and that's going to just make his case so much stronger. And then lastly, for a short-term action plan, he needs to highlight how the other aspects would fail if diversity was affected. Customer relationships aren't going to be as strong, which is going to lead to loss of business. The people within the company, you're probably going to have a higher turnover if there's not as much diversity and you're not being as effective as possible. So you're going to lose money hiring people and firing people and just not having the right fit. So keeping diversity is very important. Next, the long-term action plan is to show how diversity has actually been profitable in the long run. Show how bringing in all of these different, all of these different people into play has brought up their numbers and really shot up their revenue year over year. And this just 2008 is just a bad example, because everyone is failing, everything is failing. It's not about the business model, it's about the global economy. So next, he needs to look for ways to add more value to diversity and show the more monetary values. And then lastly, further initiatives to build an inclusive company and put more people of color into these places. And so, like I said, just doing all that together is going to show the board of directors that they need to keep diversity, and they're going to have to find other funds and cut other expenses. So thank you very much. I hope you all have a safe break, and thanks for bearing with me.